Okay, what I've done is, here's the digital design class tutorial. So this is up on the Moodle now. And what I've done is I've actually put up some videos that I recorded last semester. I think it is last semester because I think I was doing it face to face. So there's sort of like a cavernous echo as I'm delivering, recording these tutorials in D211. But anyway, I'm going to show you about creating some simple looping animation, but the actual short video of that is there, as well as what I also recorded earlier this year, creating auto animation between pages. So that's about 13 minutes. This one's about 6, I think. So this should all get you going with the actual construction of your food delivery app prototype. But remember, the design itself is what you really need to pay attention to. And we'll talk about a few different aspects of that as they relate a little bit later today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a looping animation cycle. It's really, really simple. So in, whoops, let's just come into here. I've just got this is in Illustrator. And if I just look at the artboard, I've just used the iPhone 10 size, but remember that in XD, these sizes are much, 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 much smaller. Okay, so just remember that. So what I've got here, it's just a little circle I've created with a few movements of anchor points and the like. And so I'm going to make this part beat as an auto animation in XD. And what I'll also do is I'm going to make this shape rotate. But what I'll do to start with is I'll just making a circle rotate is very difficult to see. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add an anchor point and then delete it. And I might actually just throw a cap on that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select those and copy them. Now I'm going to come over to XD. All right, XD. Okay, so this iPhone 10 is 375 by 812, so it's much smaller. So just note that it's probably these sizes that you want to be using when you're building things, or resize them in Illustrator if you're copying and pasting graphic elements into it. Anyway, I'm just going to paste what I have. Hopefully to paste. There we go. So you can see that obviously it's a little larger. You don't really want to be, okay. So what's also happening is because this is a stroke, because I'm reducing the size, the stroke is actually staying the same. So I might, whoops, I'll come to that stroke. Let's just look at the layers. Okay, so there's path 1. All right, so I might just bring that down. There you are. So just remember, anything you copy from Illustrator does exist in the layers panel. So down the bottom left, you've just got to open up the group. You can name things, naming things good generally. Okay, So I've got these two elements. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to create an auto animation for this. Okay, so you could have colored backgrounds, all those things. They don't actually have to auto animate. So I'll come up and I'm just selecting via this menu at the top, sort of selecting the artboard, and I'm just going to option drag. Okay, so it's important to note that in XD you actually have to have a duplicate of the shape or the text or whatever you're doing for it to do any sort of auto animation, and that's sort of animations between pages and the like. You actually have to have a duplicate. You can't just create a new one that happens to look exactly the same. And so now what I'll do, I'll come into here, and I'm just going to make this a little larger. And I'm just going to grab this shape and I'm just going to rotate it. Okay. So same thing, little bit of a difference, but that should be enough. So now all I need to do is come up to the prototype. So this is, if you've got your logo and you want things to auto animate, you'll build it this way. So with the prototype, I'll just come over here and move this page, link this page to this one. Now, over here in the top corner, we've got what the trigger is. So rather than it actually being a tap to create the auto animation, which is what would generally happen if we're moving between pages. Now, this is also interesting. The idea of a tap is for someone to actually tap the screen. Okay, so it's a little different, slightly different to a mouse click, but it's sort of the same thing. Okay, so just remember that we're looking at finger-driven navigation. We're talking about mobile devices. And I'll talk about that in a moment too, about the importance of sizing your buttons right. Okay, so I've put the time, I'll put a delay on it. I'll just say I'm going to start with this. I can always come back and refine all of these things. Okay, lengthen, quicken, and whoops. And the animation, what I'll do is, actually what I'll do is easing, I'll do it as a bounce. So it's sort of like well, like almost a beating heart. Duration again, let's just keep it like that. And then what I do is I get this one and I drag it back to this one. Okay, so there's the auto animations. Now, I can, of course, have a button on here which will lead me to the the landing or the menu page or whatever. So you'd probably have that duplicate. Okay, so let's have a look and see what we have here. Okay, so probably a little quick, but it's getting there. I probably don't want to dissolve. Transition auto animate is what I also needed to do. That would have helped. Let's just make this a bit slower. Let's go for a second. Okay, it's a bit slow. You get the idea. So let's just come up to here. Okay, I probably don't need the delay. Let's take the delay off. Okay, so you can sort of see that we can have things rotate. That's pretty lumpy, the thing rotating. But I'm just showing you that things like scale and rotate. So let's just take the bounce off. Let's try something. Let's see what wind up does. Yeah. But that will just be an infinite loop. Okay. Anyway, you get the idea. So if you wanted to have no, you don't have to have auto animations in there, but you can certainly just sort of look at different ways in which you can create these the animation type transition, auto animate is what I wanted. That's probably better. Okay, so now you can also experiment with, come back to the design phase and see how you can go, oops, choose the right layer. See how things change, like in terms of trying different rotations. Okay, so it's just these little refining things that you can do. See if I can bring it all the way full circle. See what that does. Sometimes it won't actually, I've actually rotated it full clockwise, but sometimes it will actually look at the difference between beginning and end, and there might not be any perceptible animation. So it's always interesting to check these things. Okay, so that was a full rotation that we did there. Okay, maybe the bounce is a bit pokey. So we come through and refine that way. Okay, so snap, bounce. Let's see what we do here. I know. Okay, getting to that beating heart sort of thing finally now. Okay, so those are some simple little things that you can try. Look at things like with the landing page, having the actual brand there before you get to the next page. Look at the, as we've spoken about, the customer or the user journey, okay? The navigation from beginning through to checkout, okay? And I want you to concentrate on creating that user journey throughout, okay? And just remembering, try and avoid things where people have to go backwards to go forwards. You want it to sort of be a nice, logical flow. So hopefully that will be part of your design journey.